Good afternoon. Welcome to the Yuma County Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, June 28th, 2022. A couple things I need to read before we get started here. If you're parked in the rear employee gated parking lot, please move your vehicle to the front north parking lot to avoid having your vehicle locked in. Restrooms and drinking fountains are down in the hallway behind this meeting room. Feel free to use these facilities as needed. I'd like to move forward and call for a quorum.
AJ Mosqueda,
Present.
Ron Rice, Jim Allen, Tim Bowers,
Present.
Scott Mulhern,
Here.
Danny Bryant, Matias Rosales,
Present.
Gary Black,
Here.
Bobby McDermott,
Here.
Ron Van Wy.
Here.
Chairman, you do have a quorum.
Thank you. At this time, we'll stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, the flag should be the other way.
All right, moving on to item number 3, approval of Planning and Zoning Commission regular meeting minutes of May 24, 2022.
Mr. Chairman, are you willing to accept a motion?
Yeah.
I'd like to propose a motion that we approve the minutes of May 24th, 2022.
Second that.
Thank you. So approved. Moving on to item number 4. I'm sorry. It's my first time. Let's call for a vote on that. All in favor, say it.
Aye.
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 Any against? Motion approved. Item number 4, special use permit case number 22-03. Bruce Schmidt, agent for Santa Fe Hacienda Construction, requests a special use permit per section 604.03M of the Yuma County zoning ordinance to allow an accessory dwelling unit on parcel of 30,199 square feet in size, zoned low-density residential, 20,000 square feet minimum, R120. Assessor parcel number 701-18251, located at 12400 East Blue Sky Lane, Yuma, Arizona. Staff?
Thank you, Vice Chairman, members of the Commission. Anson Lahosset, Senior Planner, presenting special use permit case
Scott,
22.
Could you speak up, please? I can't hear you. Or into the microphone, please.
Can you hear me now?
Not very well.
Not well.
Well,
Move it closer to yourself.
Just move that real close, please.
There you go.
How about now?
Perfect.
All right. Thank you, Vice Chairman, members of the Commission. Anson Lahosset, Senior Planner, presenting special use permit case number 2203. Bruce Schmidt, agent for Santa Fe Hacienda Construction, requests a special use permit per section 604.03M of the Yuma County zoning ordinance to allow an accessory dwelling unit on a parcel 30,199 square feet, zoned R120. The parcel is located within the Foothills Planning Area at 12400 East Blue Sky Lane, and the intent is to build a detached accessory dwelling unit. This is the zoning and vicinity map. The subject parcel is crosshatched. Parcel 198 to the northwest is zone R120 and is developed with a site-built home. Parcel 194 to the north is zoned C2 and is developed with tennis courts and the Freedom Performing Arts Company. Parcels 186 through 192 and parcels 96 through 99 are zoned R16, are developed with site-built residences, and are within the Mesa del Sol Unit 2 subdivision. Parcel 244 and 249 through 259 are zoned R120 and are within the Purple Mountain Ranch subdivision. Parcels 250, 252, 253, 256, and 258 are improved with site-built homes. This is the site plan submitted by the applicant, which proposes to include cooking facilities, which would classify it as a dwelling unit pursuant to Section 202 of the Yuma County zoning ordinance. This is an aerial image, and the Purple Mountain Ranch subdivision is currently building single-family residences. Directly west on Blue Sky Lane, Special Use Permit 2201 was recently approved by the Board of Supervisors. This is an image looking north towards the parcel, and the residence is currently under construction. And this is an image looking south at the parcel, the accessory structure also currently under construction as a garage. Staff received no comments from property owners within the zoning notification area. Staff recommends approval of special use permit case number 2203, subject to the following performance condition. Within 60 days of Board of Supervisors approval, all owners or their agents must provide the following: an ARS 12-1134 waiver. And operational conditions: the approval of the special use permit is based on the site plan submitted by the applicant. Any change from the site plan will require approval by the planning director pursuant to Section 402.04 of the Yuma County zoning ordinance. The principal dwelling and the accessory dwelling unit shall not be rented separately. Vice Chairman, that completes staff's presentation. Are there any questions for staff?
I'm confused. Is this already under construction? Or,
As a garage.
I believe not.
no, okay.
Well, no, that it is as being built as a garage currently,
Oh, gotcha.
and he wants to convert it into a second unit. Is that correct?
Mr. Chairman, that is correct.
So he didn't need a permit to start building it?
No.
Mr. Chairman, if the permit was issued for the garage, the garage is an accessory structure and it's allowed by right in the zoning district. In order for that structure to be used as a dwelling unit, they will need to obtain a change of occupancy permit if the special use permit is approved.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This time, any more questions from commissioners? Hang- Just 1 minute.
Yeah, so we're requesting the special.
Can you please
use-
state your name and
Yeah,
address for the record?
sorry. Isaac Oliva, address 10785 East 39th Lane. So we're currently building the home. The request for the special use is for gas line so we can have a stove for outdoor entertainment. So there's going to be a pool in the future right outside the building, so that's all it is. I mean, it's not going to be rented. Nobody's going to live in the building. It's just for entertaining purposes.
But it's not actually a dwelling. It's an accessory building, but it's not a living quarter.
No, it's not a living quarter. no.
Mr. Chairman, if the structure has cooking and laboratory facilities, it is a dwelling unit and requires a special use permit.
Any more questions? No? Thank you. Anyone else from the public have any more questions at all?
Sure, would you entertain a motion?
Yes, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve special use permit case number 22-03 as presented.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, say aye. All in favor?
I,
Any opposed? Thank you. Motion passes. On to item number 5, rezoning case number 22-05. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman. Just give me a minute to open the presentation. Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman, members of the commission. Juan Leal Rubio, Senior Planner with the Planning and Zoning Division. This is a request by Joe Blanco to rezone a parcel, which is 21,525 square feet in size from R120 to C2. And this is to develop, the intent is to develop a automobile sales business. The property is located in the City of Yuma General Planning area at 3760 West 8th Street. The proposed zoning does conform to the City of Yuma General Plan. This is the vicinity map that shows the subject property, parcel 1 crosshatched. And surrounding the property, we have to the northeast zoning MHS 4.5, which is developed with mostly manufactured homes and or mobile homes. Further north, we have parcel 91, zone R3, which is the location of a pre-ordinance non-conforming park, mobile home park. We have a property zone R120 to the north, parcels 24, 25, and 26, location of a site-built home. We have parcels 21, 84, and 83 to the northwest, zone R18, location of site-built homes, and parcel 88, zoning R16, location of a site-built home. Parcels that you see here in red to the south and to the west are all zone C1, and we have a mixture of commercial uses. And across the street, we have, right next door, we have parcel 2, a church. To the south, we have some multi-family dwelling units, pre-ordinance non-conforming. And to the east, we have parcels 99, 100, and 52, zone C2, location of a tire shop and an abandoned convenience store. This is the site plan that was provided by the applicant. It shows the existing property and the uses. Some of these buildings will have to be brought up to current codes as far as change of occupancy and acquisition of building permits. This is the aerial imagery that shows the property. This is an old aerial imagery. The property has changed. Now it's, as you'll see in pictures, it has some used vehicles for sale on display. And again, the improvements to the property include improvements to the existing buildings. There you see the property looking north at the property, the used vehicles and the buildings that have been improved. This is looking east along 8th Street, looking north along El Prado Road. We did not receive any comments from people within 300 feet. And staff is recommending approval of this rezoning case with the condition that within 60 days of board approval, the owner shall provide a ARS 121134 waiver and record a schedule for development disclosure statement, and that the schedule for development that within 1 year of approval by the board, the owner shall acquire and have finalized all required permits as per code requirements. And that concludes staff's presentation. Ready to entertain any questions.
Thank you. Commissioners have any questions for staff?
Yes, so, Mr. Rubio, so the present property is actually already being used as such, right?
Yes, it is.
So he's in violation of the zoning ordinance right now then?
That is the reason why the applicant made application for rezoning, to try and bring the property into compliance with codes and ordinances. Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Oh, go ahead.
what's in lot 99?
Mr. Vice Chairman, on lot 99, there's a tire shop.
Okay, then lot 2?
Lot 2, Mr. Vice Chairman, is a church.
Okay, all right.
Chairman, yeah, did I read something in there about screening and whatever that was required?
Mr. Vice Chairman, as part of the conditions of approval of a building permit, they will have to screen in between the residential district and the commercial property. They will have to do a type A screening, which is either 100% vegetation or like a block wall to provide 100% obstruction.
Thank you.
And also, there is currently a right-of-way abandonment in place If you see the site plan, you'll see that there is a alley in the back. That alley it appears that it has never been used as an alley, or maybe back in the day, but currently it's seen as maybe a part of the property, but it isn't. It's public right away. It's an alley. And the applicant has made a petition to abandon that right away to make it a part of the property.
Any other questions for staff?
Concerning the alley, there's nothing on either side where people, is there an alley to the east and the west?
Based on the imagery and my site visit, there is alley on the, as you can see here, on the east side heading up north. But again, that's something that the right-of-way agent will take in consideration when a recommendation is made to the board as far as abandoning the alley, how others might be affected or not affected by the abandonment. And to the west, it's also, there's an alley west of El Prado Road, and I'm not sure how that is being used or how often it is used, but all that is looked into when someone petitions for a right of abandonment, whether the board should abandon it or not.
Mr. Chairman, I do have one final comment on this, because that's why I asked you what was on each side. Those are both commercial settings, and you have a barrier. I would call, the alley was a barrier to me. That's what I thought it was. Because going from residential to commercial, you need some type of barrier or something there.
A buffer.
A buffer, yeah.
Mr. Vice Chairman, if this alley get abandoned, they will still have to provide a 25-foot buffer between the residential property to the north and the subject property. So in addition to the screening, they'll also have to do a buffering.
On the north question, just a question, what's that lot 24, what, is that residential?
I'm sorry?
Lot 24 on the north side of the alley, if I'm looking at this right?
That is zone R120. There's a site-built home on that property.
Any more questions for staff? At this time, I'd like to open up to the agent for the applicant or the applicant himself. They'd like to come forward and speak.
I'm the applicant and also the property owner, Joe Blanco, 3760 West 8th Street. Any other questions other than everything there that I could answer? That maybe you still have a concern?
Commissioners have any questions?
Just for the history of it, like we had told Mr. Rubio, was that prior to us buying the property, we bought it from a gentleman that was using it as a business, and I never bothered to look into it to see what it was zoned. So the, what was it that came in, the zoning, where we got the violation, the department, what's the name of the department?
Chairman, they did, there was I think there's an existing zoning violation case
Exactly.
open on
So
this
that's
property.
why it was brought to our attention to do the whole process. And it took a year to go through the city to get them to approve it, and that's why we're here now. So we're doing everything in a timely fashion. So if there's any questions to answer, we're trying to figure out the alley situation. And as far as the neighbors, I don't think there's any concerns with the neighbors. We've been there already for about 2 years, and we haven't had any concerns from the neighbors.
Yeah. Any questions at all? Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to open to the public. If anybody like to speak for or against. Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the commission for a vote.
Mr. Vice Chairman, I move that we recommend approval of the rezoning of the parcel in question.
I'll second.
We got a motion to approve.
I should say, sir, providing that the improvements and everything is brought into requirements per your recommendation, per staff's recommendation.
Thank you. So we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Who gave the second?
That's what I was going to ask.
Many of us.
Yes.
Bobby?
McDermott.
Thank you.
Moving on to rezoning, item number 6, rezoning case number 22-06. Staff?
Thank you, Vice Chairman, members of the commission. Ansel Hossett, Senior Planner, presenting rezoning case number 2206. Eric Salzer from El Paradiso Ranch LLC requests to rezone a parcel approximately 8.93 gross acres in size from rural area 10-acre minimum to suburban site-built 2-acre minimum. The subject parcel is located in the Foothills Planning Area at the southwest corner of County 15th and a half Street and Avenue 4E. The intent is to create 3 lots for residential development, approximately 3 acres in size. This is a zoning vicinity map. The subject parcel is in red crosshatched. Parcel 15 to the north is zoned R140 and is improved with a site-built residence and accessory structures. Parcel 14 to the northwest is zoned RA10 and is fallow. Parcel 747-56001 to the west is zoned RA10 and is in agriculture. Parcel 3 and parcel 747-64001 are zoned PD plan development and are fallow. Parcel 197-31002 is zoned RA10 and is improved with a site-built residence. Parcel 1 is zoned RA10 and is in desert terrain. And parcel 13 is zoned PD and is improved with a site-built residence. This is an aerial image of the vicinity. This is a little bit of an old image. The parcel was previously in citrus trees, however, they were recently uprooted. So the parcel is not as green as it appears in the picture. And this is the site plan submitted by the applicant. This is an image looking south along Avenue 4E. This is an image looking southwest at the subject property. This is an image looking southeast at the parcel and an irrigated lateral, which is the A7.4 lateral on bounded on the west of the property. And another image looking north at the subject property, also with the irrigation lateral on the left. Staff received no comments from within the zoning notification area. Staff did receive comments from Marine Corps Air Station Yuma and from the Yuma Mesa Irrigation and Drainage District. Staff recommends approval of rezoning case number 2206, subject the following performance condition. Within 60 days of approval by the Board of Supervisors, the owner or agent shall provide an ARS 12-1134 waiver, record an infrastructure disclosure statement, an avigation disclosure statement, a range disclosure statement, an agricultural disclosure statement, a schedule for development disclosure statement, and schedule for development within 1 year of approval by the Board of Supervisors. The property shall be split by means of a land division permit in accordance with Section 507 of the Yuma County Zoning Ordinance. And within 1 year of approval by the Board of Supervisors and prior to approval of the land division and the development of any of the parcels, all lots shall be provided with means of irrigation and access to irrigation water. The owner applicant will submit a letter from the irrigation district to the Department of Development Services confirming that a satisfactory irrigation system is installed and the individual lots will have access to irrigation water. Mr. Chairman, that completes staff's presentation. Are there any questions for staff?
Commissioners have any questions for staff this time? Seeing none, I'll move forward. I'd like to invite the agent for the applicant to come forward if he'd like.
My name is Eric Salzer. I'm at 4400 West US Highway 95, Somerton, Arizona. Staff did a great job. Pretty much, yeah. I'm just going to divide it up and put some houses there and plant some date trees and continue irrigating the property. So, any questions you guys have? Or?
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thanks.
This time I'd like to open up to the public. If there's any questions from the public, they'd like to come forward. Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the commission for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, you take a motion?
I will.
I would recommend approval of rezoning case 22-06 as presented.
I'll second.
Mr. Black. Van Way.
Either one of us.
Commissioner Bowers, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Motion approved. Item number 7, rezoning case number 22-08. Item 8, rezoning case number 22-09. I'll be recusing myself. I currently work for the agent for the applicant. I'm going to turn the meeting over to Mr. Rosales. Commissioner Rosales? Sorry.
To the left, I guess. I thought I went to the right. All right, cool. All right, staff. Rezoning case number 2208. And for the record, we have, he has recused himself voluntarily. Go ahead.
So that'll make you the vice?
I guess that's what I guess I'm the vice of the vice.
Mr. Vice Chairman, members of the Commission, Juan Leal Rubio, Senior Planner with the Planning and Zone Division. This is rezoning case 2208, a request by Adrian Vega, agent for Junior Construction, requesting to rezone a parcel 16,170 square feet in size from MHS 10 to MHS 6. The property is located in the Foothills Planning Area at 12744 East 42nd Place, and the intent is to create 2 parcels for residential development. This is the case map that shows parcel 49, crosshatch. It is currently vacant, and surrounding the property is a mixture of site-built homes, manufactured homes. And I'll just go over the zoning. To the northwest, we have parcels 89 and 90, zone MHS 6. We have all the parcels here shown, zone MHS 10, and all the others are zone MHS 20. And then we have parcels 58 and 102, zone MHS 4.5. This is the proposal of the land division that shows future parcels A and B. And this is the aerial imagery that shows the property currently vacant. The access to the property is along Paula Avenue or 42nd Place, both primitive roads that are maintained by the county once a year, and they have an application of MAC chloride. This is the property looking north. Looking west along 42nd Place with, you can see the primitive road. Looking north along Paula Avenue. And we did receive comments from MCA Azuma saying that the property is 1.7 miles from the Berry M Goldwater Range, and they're requesting a navigation and range disclosure statement that be recorded. Staff is recommending approval of this rezoning case with the condition that within 60 days of board approval, that the owner or agent provide an ARS 121134 waiver, record a range and restricted airspace disclosure statement, an infrastructure disclosure statement, and a schedule for development disclosure statement. And at the schedule for development, that within 1 year of board approval, they submit for a land division permit in accordance with the land division map they submitted. 507 of the Yuma County zoning ordinance. And that concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you. Any questions from the commissioners? Staff? Concerns? Hearing none. Anyone from the public or the applicant would like to speak in regards to this case? I'm hearing a head nod. All right. At this time, I'll bring it back to the commissioners for a motion, please.
Mr. Vice Chairman, Assistant Vice Chairman. I move that we recommend that we approve rezoning case 22-08 as read.
I'll second that.
Got a motion. We have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any against? Okay, motion passes. I'm assuming item number 8 will be the same situation, so I'll go ahead and continue that one. Correct, Ms. Mahal? You're recusing yourself from?
Yes.
All right,
8, 7, and 8.
all right. Rezoning case number 2209, staff, please.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman, members of the commission. Juan Leal Rubio, planner, senior planner with the Planning and Zoning Division. This is zoning case number 2209. This is a request by Adrian Vega from Dahl Robinson Associates, acting as an agent for John Ott and Mary J. Trust to rezone a parcel, a portion, an 8.60 acre portion of a parcel, 10 gross acres in size, from rural area 10 acre minimum to suburban homestead 2 acre minimum. The intent is to create 5 lots for residential development, and the property is located in the Yuma Mesa planning area at the southwest corner of County 12th Street and Avenue 5E. This is the vicinity map that shows parcel 1 crosshatch. As you can see, the property is bisected by the 65 and the 70 decibel noise zone on the northwest corner. The remaining is within the 65 decibel noise zone. And property uses surrounding the property are to the northeast, we have parcels 4 and parcels 697-60-003, currently in the city of Yuma limits, zoned site-built zone. I'm not sure what the zoning is, but there's currently a site-built home on each one of the parcels. Parcels 697-60-002, also within city of Yuma limits, in ag. Parcel 697-59001 to the northwest, also in the city limits, in ag. And parcel 2 to the west, in ag, zone R810. Parcel 3 to the southwest, currently R810 and in ag, and also a site-built home. Parcel 7 to the south, R810 in ag. Parcel 8 to the southeast is zone SSB2 and currently in citrus. And parcel 6 and parcel 75404-002 to the east, zone SR2, currently location of a site-built home each. And parcel 75404-003, zone SR2 in citrus. As you can see here, what you see in green is in the 65 decibel noise zone. This is aerial imagery that shows property currently in ag and the other uses that I just went over. This is the site plan submitted by the applicant that shows the future proposed splits if this rezoning gets approved. Five lots with access off of County 12th Street. This is the building envelope that shows if this gets approved where they'll be able to build a site-built home on these 2 parcels, and any structure that are residential in nature. This is looking west along County 12th Street. This is looking southwest at the parcel, looking southeast at the parcel, looking northeast at the parcel, and the location of a ditch. And we did not receive any comments from property owners within the notification area. We did receive comments from MCAS. Those are in the file. MCAS is in opposition. And also received comments from Arizona Attorney General's office that also in expressing opposition. We received comments from Yuma Mesa Irrigation and Drainage District and also Yuma Airport Authority. Staff is recommending approval of this rezoning case with the following performance conditions: that within 60 days of approval by the board, the owner or agent shall provide the ARS 121134 waiver and record the following disclosure statements: infrastructure, aviation, range, agriculture, and schedule for development disclosure statement. And the following schedule for development: that within one year of board approval, the owner shall apply for and obtain a grading permit from the Department of Development Services to improve the ingress-egress easement shown on the site plan as an access-built road in a dust-free condition by ABC, covered by a penetration and chip seal code known as Standard B. And number 2, within 1 year of board approval, the owner shall submit certification from a licensed engineer confirming the roadway was built according to the standard B penetration and chip seal. And then number 3, within 1 year of board approval, the owner or agent shall split the property in accordance of a land division permit per section 507 of the Yuma County zoning ordinance. Number 4, that within 1 year of approval by the board, and as part of item 3, the owner shall record any egress easement as depicted on the submitted site plan. And number 5, that they provide access to irrigation water to all lots. And they have to submit a proof, like letter from the irrigation district, that there is a satisfactory irrigation system in place. And that concludes staff's presentation. Ready to entertain any questions?
Thank you. At this time, any questions from commissioners?
I have a comment. I'm just a little concerned about the letter that was submitted by the colonel from Marine Corps Station Yuma with regard to them not seeming to support this endeavor at all due to noise concerns, and I believe he said compatibility. He's concerned about incompatible development which may hinder military operations. That has me concerned.
Normally, we see that with the 65 decibel. But that's been, at least on the county side, if I'm correct, that's why you showed the building area to avoid being built on the 65 versus the 70 decibel.
Mr. Vice Chairman, that is correct.
Any other questions?
Yes. Could I see the plot map again, or where the lots are going to, how the lots are going to be divided? This will be 5 lots, right?
Mr. Vice Chairman, that is correct. It's shown on the screen.
Okay, the dashed line is a noise zone or line?
Mr. Vice Chairman, the dashed line represents the bisection of the 65 and 70 decibel noise zone. Yes.
Okay. And how does that affect the development of a home?
Mr. Vice Chairman, like we show on this next slide, here again, the Manila color is where they're going to be able to build a home.
Okay, so that in the white parcel, then they are not allowed to build a home in there?
Not a home. They would be able possibly to build maybe accessory, like an ag building.
Okay.
Nothing that's habitable, like for residential in nature.
Any additional questions? Hearing none, I'll bring it to the public. Anyone from the public would like to comment for or against applicant as well?
Good evening, Assistant Chairman, and members of the commission. Mary Ellen Finch, Community Liaison Officer at MCIS Yuma. I do want to kind of correct. So the line that's shown on the slide. So everything in the light color, the kind of cream color, is in the 65, which still violates state law and your zoning ordinance as well. So currently, as the state law states, anything that's in the 65 and greater, which is not part of a pre-development plan by December 31st, 2000, is in violation of residential development. So, and that's why the Attorney General also weighed in. So we feel that it's obviously in violation of state law, it's in violation of your own zoning ordinance, and it's in violation of our air installation compatibility zones 65, which also strongly discourages residential, anything in 65 and above. So the 70 just makes it even more egregious, but anything in the 65 is also, unless it was built prior to 2000.
Do we have any comments in regards to that comment from our attorney?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, with regards to the letter from the Attorney General, he's in error that this would be a violation of state law if you were to do this rezoning. He's making some assumptions like what the use will be. For instance, if the use was farming housing, housing used by farm workers, that's allowed. Also, there's the joint land use plan agreed that 2-acre parcels could be developed in this area. That was an agreement with the military, the city, and the county, and that was in place before the state law was adopted. the state law was adopted primarily to bring some other communities in compliance. We had a joint land use plan that the military was okay with, and at least in the past, they've been okay with these 2-acre parcels being rezoned even after the state law.
So with that said, would that be a grandfather clause because of the county adopting that prior to 2000?
It wouldn't be grandfathered, but the military's understood that they had agreed to that before 2000 in the past. I'm not sure if they have a different commander.
We've done so many of
But
those.
I don't know what exactly is going to happen, as to who's going to be developing or living on these properties. Even if you do the rezoning, the state law does clearly say if it's rezoned after 2000, they wouldn't be able to develop a typical residence. They would have to go and obtain a variance from the Board of Adjustment, and that's where the military, if they're still opposed to that variance, that's where they could come and object to that. But
My understanding, what you're saying is right now is the rezoning, the assumption is that something will build like in that nature, and that's down the road.
yeah, we'll have to see what's going to be built, how it's going to be developed. But the Attorney General's letter is making some assumptions. Your rezoning it is not in itself going to allow dwellings that would be in violation of either our zoning or state law. It's just a first step to development.
Appreciate that.
Mr. Chairman?
And also, give me a minute. And also for the record, I show that the points are 275, I think, on the staff, on your score sheet, was 275 within the high. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm concerned about the density, of five homes in that area. I could go for 3, but I don't, the rest of it's pretty much all in ag around it. Plus with the noise concerns and that sort of stuff, it seems premature to be putting that density there.
For the record, that's the allowed zoning. If it approves, that's what the density allows, right? 1 acre per 1 home per 2 acres?
Per 2 acres.
Per acres, correct.
Yes.
That's how we're, okay.
Mr.
All right.
Vice
Thank you,
Chairman?
noted.
Just want to clear the record. Obviously, we're just currently going to vote on the rezoning.
Correct.
There's going to be other processes in place that are going to require different structures. They're going to require different type of installation. There'll be other things of that nature that the county will deal with at the time of construction. Is that correct, Ms. Carrasco?
Mr. Chairman, if the rezoning is approved by the Board of Supervisors, they will still have to obtain a variance if the intent is to build a single-family site-built residence on the property or a single-family residence on the property. They can't, just the zoning itself doesn't give them the entitlement to build a residence.
Thank you, Ms. Castro.
Correct.
All right, any other questions? We already went to the public, so any other questions from the commissioners? At this point, I'll entertain a motion, please.
Mr. Chairman, will you accept the motion?
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to make this motion based on the zoning. Density does have something to do with this, I realize that. But whereas you're crossed over in the 65, you're over in the 70 dB zone. I honestly, I feel the landowner has the right to rezone this and get what he needs out of it. I think even building the residences is a different situation. Possibly there needs to be some special construction or something, maybe, I don't know. But I would make a motion to approve rezoning case number 22-09.
I'll second.
Submitted.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any against?
No?
Okay, motion carries. Thank you. And that's it for me, then back to the vice.
Thank you, Vice. Item number 9, request for modifications of subdivision regulations for the proposed Las Broncos number 2 subdivision.
Thank you, Vice Chairman, members of the commission. Anson Lahosset, Senior Planner, presenting the modifications request for Las Barrancas Number 2 subdivision. The developer is requesting 2 modifications from the Yuma County subdivision regulations for the proposed Las Barrancas Number 2 subdivision. The developer is requesting to not incorporate streetlights along 40th Street per the requirement pursuant section 4.15B perimeter roads. The developer is not proposing any improvements since existing subdivisions in the area do not have lighting and no lighting preparation was left for any future extension of the lighting system. The engineering department recommends approval of this request since Las Barrancas Number 1 was not required to provide street lights along 40th Street. This is the tentative map, and highlighted in yellow is 40th Street. And the second, the developer is requesting to not meet the requirement that the angle of street intersection cannot vary from 90 degrees by more than 10 degrees. The developer, or pursuant standard number 3-340, angle of intersections, the developer requested street intersections along Avenue 14.5E that varies from this requirement. And this was due to the existing alignment of Avenue 14.5E in Barrancas Number 1 subdivision and the location of the north quarter corner of Section 14, Township 9 South, Range 21 West. The projection of existing roads from Barrancas Number 1 cannot be more or equal to an 80-degree angle. The engineering department recommends approval of this request since Avenue 14.5E meanders throughout the road alignment. The proposed layout does not create an unsafe street connection. And this is the tentative map, and circled in red are the intersections. Staff recommends approval of the requested modifications. Mr. Vice Chairman, would you like me to move on to the tentative map?
Yes, please.
Alrighty. The request is to approve the tentative map for the proposed Las Barrancas Number 2 subdivision consisting of 96 residential lots zoned recreational vehicle subdivision. The parcel is located in the vicinity of the southeast corner of County 12th Street and Avenue 14.5E. This is the zoning and vicinity map with the parcel in cross-hatched orange or manila. And this is the tentative map for Las Barrancas Number 2 subdivision. Staff recommends approval of Las Barrancas Number 2 subdivision tentative map subject to the following conditions. The developer must satisfy all ADQ approvals at the time the final plat is submitted for review. Developer must satisfy all Yuma County Flood Control District requirements for final plat approval. Developer must satisfy all Yuma County Engineering Department requirements at the time the final plat is submitted for review. Mail delivery service, or mail delivery shall be coordinated with the U.S. Postal Service. Within 3 years of the date of approval, the developer must submit the final plat for approval by the Board of Supervisors. If any of the requested modifications are denied, the tentative map shall be revised to meet the requirements of the subdivision regulations. The revised tentative map shall be submitted to the planning director within 30 days of the Board of Supervisor action. That completes staff's presentation. Are there any questions for staff?
Commissioners have any questions for staff at this time?
Have we seen this particular plat and development before concerning the streetlights and whatever? Is this a bring back of another one, or is this a new portion of the development?
Maggie, are you sure about, was this new, the Barrancas 2?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
The question was, have we seen this before for action on this particular subdivision?
Mr. Chairman, this is a new subdivision. The previous subdivisions that were developed in the area, I believe that they were prior to the existing subdivision regs. And I don't think streetlights were required at that time for those developments. That is why there are no streetlights. So the current subdivision regulations require streetlights, and however, the reason for the request is that the surrounding subdivisions have not provided streetlights.
Mr. Vice Chairman. Ms. Carrasco, as far as, this is the issue I have is that when do we stop not providing streetlights? We can continue going for days and days and years. The system has to stop. You see what I'm saying? Because just because one division didn't have to do it, when do we stop and require other divisions? This is a life, health, and safety issue. It's very dark out there. The crime rate is up out there. We're going to add 96 more homes into an area, and we're going to create another dark environment. And so when do we as staff say, okay, enough is enough, let's do lighting issues? Because that's a very strong issue.
Arturo Alvarez, Engineering Division. I believe Barrancas number 2, the engineer might correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the board, they didn't require the first units to build streetlights along 40th Street alignment. So therefore, they didn't build them west of Avenue 15E. So we also recommended, since they were waived under unit number 1, that we recommend them as well to be waived on unit number 2.
Okay, but is there, if I may, is there a point when we can say, okay, just because we did it for one, we decide we need to change now because it is a life, health, and safety issue?
Yes, the commission has that option to to enforce that requirement. It's a modification that you have in front of you.
Because it is in the zoning ordinance that they do supply lighting issues or lighting for us to do subdivision. Is that correct?
It's under the subdivision regulations. Yes. So you can either deny it or approve the modification.
Thank you.
Just to confirm, the 40th Street alignment doesn't have lights, but the interior of the subdivision will have lights?
I believe the drawings did not show any streetlights in
None at all.
on the internal
And
street.
if my, go ahead.
The requirement is for arterial streets, which in this case is 40th Street and Avenue 15E. This subdivision borders on the north on 40th Street.
If my memory is correct, and I don't have, Las Barrancas 1 was done what year? That was
I don't have that information with me.
a while back, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And if I remember conversations, the reason it was fought not to have lights is because people didn't want to lose the, like in Tucson, the view,
Yes.
the night skies, and that was a community request at that time as well, so.
And again, that's an option for the developer if they wanted to
Right.
introduce streetlights on the internal streets.
I just wanted to point that out because I know that was a big issue in the past when they did Barrancas 1 to make sure that the night stayed night for that area, for the development to grow. Okay, thank you.
Any more questions for the staff? I'd like to open it to the agent for the applicant and to the public if they'd like to come forward.
Members of the commission, my name is Raul Garcia Molina. Work for Jacobson Engineering, and I'm the engineer designing the subdivision. We have designed some of the subdivisions years ago, and yes, we designed and built Barrancas number 1. One of the main reasons for not having lights is what you just mentioned. Not only the developer, but the property owners would like to have a clear view of the sky. Safety is not an issue in these areas, mainly for retired people, even though anybody can live in there. But the thing will be just a light in the middle of a square mile, because there are no lights or street lights in those subdivisions. infrastructure will be very expensive to bring just the lines for, I would say, 3 posts will be in that short piece of road. So we recommend not having the lights, even though if it's denied, then we'll have to build it, but there's no sense for us to build it.
Any more questions for the applicant?
Mr. Chairman, the property is east of east of Foothills Boulevard, and it is under the Dark Sky Overlay District.
It is what?
Under the Dark Sky Overlay District, or within the Dark Sky Overlay District.
So so that whole subdivision area doesn't have any lights?
Mr. Chairman, the subdivisions that were established prior to the current subdivision regs do not have streetlights because the subdivision regs at that time did not require streetlights.
Sounds like they don't want lights, right?
They don't. It's like
They don't.
It's like Tucson. You go to Tucson,
They
it's
don't
dark.
want
over
They
there.
want to have the stars and so forth.
Dark sky.
And just, if I may add another comment, just for the safety concern, the street, the 40th Avenue is still gonna have its markings and its striping for driving, and I'm assuming it still has its proper markings and everything for nighttime visual, right? Yeah. So that would be the safety concern with the drive and all that stuff, so. And then I've seen some of these communities in Tucson, not by the developer, maybe by the developer, they put little 6-foot, like we did in San Luis, the solar lights on the walkways just to
Solar
give
lights,
view level, to give some guidance, and that's not that expensive. And I've seen that being done in certain communities with the dark ordinance, so.
I think it's good for the consistency. I mean, if you didn't do it in phase one, why do it in phase two? It just doesn't make sense with the consistency of it and the aesthetics of it as well. As long as there's not a safety issue, I believe it's a good thing, so.
And the residents are okay with it, at not having lights, which they're in favor of it.
Right. Anyone else from the public at all? I'll bring it back to the commission.
How do you know the residents are for it or against it? This is a brand-new development.
Mr. Chairman, will you take a motion?
Take a motion.
Yeah, I would make a motion to approve this request as presented by staff. I think there's other ways to form lights. Less like Matthias was saying, the solar lights for low end. And if you provide lights, it's a cost. It's a cost that lasts forever. So the residents have to pay for it. And we went through this nighttime, what do we call it?
Dark sky ordinance.
Dark sky ordinance. We went through this for a month or two, maybe, I don't know, I'm not sure, don't remember. But anyway, I would make a request as presented to approve the modifications.
A motion, we have a second?
I second.
Can we clarify which item we're making the motion
On
on, please?
item number 9, I'm sorry. Request for modifications.
On the modifications, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
I'll take it to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
No.
Motion passed. And we move on to item number 10, Las Broncos number 2, tentative map. I hear a motion on that.
Mr. Chairman, you take that motion, I would make a motion to recommend approval of the tentative map for Las Barracas, I can't even say it, number 2.
We have a motion.
Roll your R's.
My gringo gets in trouble with it.
I'll second that.
We have a motion, we have a second. Take it to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
No.
Motion passes. Item number 11, discussion and action to initiate amendment to the 2020 comprehensive plan circulation element, section 6.4. Staff?
Sorry, Mr. Chairman. Juan Ladrubil, Senior Planner with the Planning and Zoning Division. This is a request by the Yuma Regional Bicycle Coalition. They submitted a request to evaluate a possible change to the alignment of the South Foothills Bike Route. And this is to change the alignment along Foothills Boulevard and move it into Ironwood Drive. This is because there's concern that Foothills Boulevard has larger increase in vehicular traffic throughout the past, that and a change in alignment to Ironwood Drive would increase cyclist safety substantially. This is the intent is to amend the 2020 comprehensive plan to change section 6.4, location of bike routes, changing the route of the Foothills Boulevard loop, and maps 4 and 5, the Foothills bicycle routes of the circulation element. So what you're going to see here is the proposed changes are shown as strike-through format that is intended to be deleted, and in bold letter format is proposed new text to be added. And also maps that will change what's existing, what's being proposed. So you see here section 6.4, non-motorized vehicles. You'll see that we're just adding clarification, removing Boulevard and adding just the South Foothills Loop, and then changing Foothills Boulevard to Ironwood Drive. The other route is located on the north side of the Interstate of 8 and extends west from Foothills Boulevard to the bike lane that ends at Avenue 9E, and the bike path that ends at approximately Avenue 8.5E, identified in the City of Yuma bike route map, C map and map 4 and map 5. As you can see here, you'll see the current route and the amended route that shows the Foothills, South Foothills loop, and then under the amended route, the Ironwood Drive route. And then map 5 also showing the current route and then the amended route. And the staff is recommending that the commission initiate an amendment to the 2020 comp plan, circulation element, section 6.4, location of bike routes, to change the route of the Foothills Boulevard loop, and maps 4 and 5 Foothills bicycle routes as presented by staff.
Commissioners have any questions for staff? Seeing none, open to the public. Any questions?
Mr. Vice Chairman, members of the commission, Jeff Brand representing the Yuma Region Bicycle Coalition. Foothills Boulevard is just too freaking dangerous. I mean, we all know that. Ironwood is a safe, local road with low-density traffic. It's wide. The engineering department has certified that it meets all the criteria. So we respectfully request that you approve this recommendation and enhance the safety of cyclists in Yuma. Thank you.
Any questions? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to entertain a motion to carry this forward.
Have a motion, a second? Second. Let's take it to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Mr.
Hearing
Chairman, I just want to clarify the motion. The motion would be to initiate an amendment to the
Initiate
comprehensive
them,
plan.
Yes.
That's correct.
Moving on to the addendum items at this time. Is that what's next?
This is what this
The
was
addendum
over here.
lost.
Oh, good Lord. Addendum 1, Addendum 2, 928X Elite Subdivision Modifications, and 928 Elite Subdivision Tentative Map. I'm going to have to recuse myself to these two and turn it over to Commissioner Rosales.
All right, let's get this going. How are we doing, Aaron?
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner. Ansel Hossett, Senior Planner, presenting the modifications request for 928X Elite Subdivision. And the developer requests 2 modifications from the Yuma County subdivision regulations for the proposed 928X Elite Subdivision. The developer is requesting to not improve Avenue 4E per the requirement pursuant 4.15B perimeter roads. The developer is not proposing any improvements since the Citrus Business Park 2 subdivision provided improvements to Avenue 4E. The engineering department recommends approval of this request since the developer of Citrus Business Park constructed road improvements, left turn lanes, along the road alignment. This is the zoning vicinity map with the subject parcel crosshatched, and highlighted in yellow is Avenue 4E. The developer is requesting to not improve constructing sidewalks along 42nd Place and 43rd Street per this requirement pursuant section 4.22B sidewalks is requested, or the developer requests to not improve constructing sidewalks along 42nd Place and 43rd Street. The developer is not proposing these improvements since nearby developments were not required to. The engineering department recommends approval of this request since the development is within an industrial commercial subdivision which did not provide sidewalks throughout its development. Therefore, sidewalks will not be required. And highlighted in yellow, 42nd Place and 43rd Street. Staff recommends approval of the requested modifications. And for the 928X Elite Subdivision tentative map, the developer is requesting the approval of the tentative map for proposed 928X Elite Subdivision consisting of 15 condominium lots zone PD plan development. The parcel is located within the Yuma Mesa planning area at the northwest corner of Avenue 4E and 43rd Street. And the subject parcel is in crosshatch. This is the tentative map submitted by the applicant. The development is existing, permitted as storage units in one development with permits B201142 and B210047. Staff recommends approval of the tentative map for 928X Elite Subdivision, subject to the following conditions. Within 3 years of the date of approval of the tentative map, the final plat shall be recorded. Developer must satisfy all ADEQ approvals at the time of the final plat is submitted for review. Developer must satisfy all Yuma County Flood Control District requirements for final plat approval. Developer must satisfy all Yuma County Building Safety Division requirements for final plat approval. Developer must satisfy all Yuma County Engineering Department requirements at the time final plat is submitted for review. Mail delivery shall be coordinated with the U.S. Postal Service. And if any of the requested modifications are denied by the Board of Supervisors, the tentative map shall be revised to meet the requirements of the subdivision regulations. The revised tentative map shall be submitted to the Planning Director within 30 days of the Board of Supervisors' action. That completes staff's presentation. Are there any questions for staff?
Vice Chairman.
Let's go. Go ahead.
Sir, this is in reference to the storage area that he just completed, right? Off of 4E?
Mr. Chairman, yes.
And
The buildings are already in place.
Right, because and then what does he plan to do with these? That's where I'm confused. I know exactly where it's at, and I know that he just finished them. So,
Mr. Chairman, the intent is to create a subdivision and sell these storage units as individual parcels.
as in dwellings.
No,
it's
Mr.
not
Chairman.
storage units.
I know they're storage units,
Yeah,
but I
you're-
mean,
you're
but
selling
they're
them.
also they're also have bathrooms in them. They have. I know exactly how they were built because I was there when they were building them. So, what he wants to, I know he wants to sell them individually, but what is his intent as far as occupancy is what I'm asking.
So, Mr. Chairman, the structures were built as storage units. If in the future, the structures want to be converted or the intent is to convert them to a different use, they will have to obtain a change of occupancy permit. However, the planned development district does not allow residential development in the subdivision. They have to comply with the development standards of the planned development, which are basically commercial and industrial type uses.
Mr. Chairman, I think the throw word here is condominium. And, you define that, and you understand that.
They're storage condominiums. What they're
Yeah.
trying to do is be able to sell the condominiums to individual owners. Not means that they're going to be used as residential units. Or right now, he's able to rent them. He wants to do a subdivision to be able to change it into a condominium setting where they all have adjoining wall, but they're selling each unit for storage units.
Like, and like I know, like I said, I know exactly what, because I was part of the safety process when they built these. And they're all air conditioned. They all have bathrooms. So that was my concern when they were building them in the first place. So that's.
There's a few of them around town, like the one on Foothills Boulevard North, same situation, yeah.
Do they have kitchens?
I'm good with it.
No.
There's storage.
That would be a guess.
It might be a
Legally, they don't.
It might be a cheap way to live. So I mean.
The RV that they park inside might have a kitchen, but, Go ahead, Ms.
Mr. Vice Chair, is this development fenced? Or can you just walk in from the street on any side?
Oh, it's fenced.
Mr. Chairman, just thinking of the concept of this development, I'm sure there's a gate and a restricted access to this development.
There is. It's
Mr.
100% block walled with two revolving ironwood gates.
And probably the question is because she's used to seeing pictures of the site, and we didn't have a picture of the site.
Yeah, my confusion is, how, if you're going to be storing stuff and it's not people, why would we need sidewalks for stuff? That's all.
Hence why they're asking it to be waived.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but yeah, condominium immediately puts me into,
Yeah, it's the word.
I think we need to come up with a better term than a
Right.
condo.
Because it's all asphalted and everything. This whole thing is all asphalt, and there's a gate right here, there's a gate right here, so it's all.
I thought this was a Trump project because it's 928X Elite.
That's the
So
name,
that
that's the
was
name
it.
of his
Yeah, well,
motor
I-
company that he's got.
All right, so with that said, do I have any motion or any further discussion from the public on item number 1, please? On item, number 1 of the amended.
Just like you said, it's the wording that threw me off too, so.
Good afternoon, Mr. Vice Chair, Planning Commissioners. I'm Kevin Dahl, Dahl Robbins and Associates, 1560 South Fifth Avenue. So we are in complete agreement with this. Thank you for staff for putting this on the agenda as an amendment. We've struggled through this process. It's a completed development, completely done. C of O has been issued for both units. All this owner is trying to do is condominiumize these units, and that is the proper term, is condominium.
Yeah,
He's selling a unit.
it is.
So to simplify our life, if we could, I'd really appreciate if you could consider eliminating all of the comments that is 2 through 6 on the 10 of the plat, is flood control, ADQ, building safety, engineering. All of that is done. We're done. We're trying to make this a condominium, so, and for the record, we're just, this isn't that big of a deal, but we don't want to come back to the final plat and have an issue with one of the items on this, so.
And that would be on the tentative map?
Yes.
Comments you're talking
Yes,
about?
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, there would be conditions 2, 3, 4, and 6 on the tentative map.
So if you want, do you have any comments on the modification of the regulations?
I
You're
do
good
not-
with, all that's good?
I do not, Mr. Vice Chair, it would be 2 through 6.
On the tentative map or on item number 1?
It would be 2 through 6 on the 10 of the map.
Okay, what about item number 1? You're good all that?
One is filing a final plat. We're going to do that immediately. And 7 is,
No, I'm talking about on the item. Which item are you speaking to? I want to make sure we don't.
I'm sorry, so.
Can you bring the items back up, please, on the screen?
So the
So
subdivision-
item
subdivision
number 1
modification.
is the modification of Yuma County subdivision
All good.
regulation. We're good. Okay,
All
so
good.
let's go ahead and act on that. Could I get a motion on that if anyone?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion that we approve the modifications as presented by staff.
Can we finish talking, please, with asking some questions?
Well, he asked
first?
for a motion.
We're not done talking questions here.
Well, on the first item, we were done. We're.
Oh, just on the one, oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
Gotcha.
okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So we have a motion. Anyone second on the first item?
Yeah, second on that.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion with a second. All in favor for approval of, for the record, 928X Elite Subdivision Modification of Yuma County Subdivision Regulations. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right, any against? Okay, motion carries. All right, so now, tentative
Chairman?
map, the
Chairman, there's
comments,
2, I don't know which one will be the second, so we can mark it down.
and rocks and scissors.
Okay,
There you
good,
go.
thank you.
Ladies go first. All right, so let's go ahead and address the comments on those, item number 2. It was Staff, do we have any issues with his request in regards to removing those conditions?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Bring them up.
Mr. Chairman, on your screen, there are the conditions that were recommended by staff. The recommendation, as requested by the developer, is to delete conditions 2 through 6.
Do you have any questions and concerns from the commissioners on that item, on those?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Vice
Go
Chairman. Mr. Dahl, as far as the conditions are concerned, the developer knew what he was doing when he first started this. Why didn't you have all this stuff in place before you even started construction?
Mr. Vice Chair, this is a ongoing discussion as far as how you do a subdivision, how you do a condominium. They just decided to do a condominium probably about 6 months ago.
Kind of odd, because I was confronted when he first started building it.
It was discussed, Mr. Vice Chair, it was discussed up front, but it wasn't definite. It was only become definite towards the end here. So items 2 through 6 are related to development. We have a C of O on both buildings. There's nothing else we can do on this. We're trying to do a legal document to make it a condominium, period. There's nothing left to be done on this.
It seems to be a recurring situation. Remember, this happened also with the development on Foothills Boulevard, on Fortuna, when they did that building into condos. So maybe that's something for later discussion, but you remember what
Well,
you-
yeah, Mr. Chairman, you could do that if you got the cash. You know, I mean, that's the way people do it with cash.
Right.
So I understand the principle.
Right.
And the condominium is all he wants now, so we can market this properly.
Right.
And that's.
And I understand,
Yeah.
and I mean,
Mr. Chairman,
So
staff
in
does
regards
not.
to your concern, does the staff have any concerns with these items being removed from the conditions?
Mr. Chairman, no, staff does not object to removing those conditions.
Vice Chairman, do you entertain a motion?
Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Vice Chairman, I recommend that we do approve it as read and striking the last requirements 2 through 7 as well.
Okay, so it was 3 to 6.
2 through 6.
2 through 6, I'm sorry,
2 to
yes.
6, 3 to 6.
2 through 6.
Okay, so we have a motion.
I'll
second.
Okay, we have a motion for approval with the conditions that's presented. We have a second by Mr. Black. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any against? Okay, motion carries. Thank you, and then we go, what's the last item? Where do we go? Are you back on you now?
Back on me.
Back on me?
Coming back.
Back on you.
Okay, item number 3, review and accept the Yuma Proving Ground YPG compatible use study.
Vice Chairman, I must recuse myself from this one, as I am a senior leader for YPG.
Thank you.
And then make sure the record explains what he said, why he recused himself.
So, Mr. Chairman, this item is just to review and accept the Yuma Proving Ground Compatible Use Study. Another term that's commonly used for these types of studies is a joint land use study. The purpose of the study, or the need for the study, is to protect the viability of current and future military operations, support regional economic vitality and environmental health, guide compatible community development, and health, safety, and welfare of residents and military personnel near YPG. The Department of Army nominated YPG for a compatible use study back in 2019. The reason for the nomination was because the YPG conducts significant amount of test operations for a variety of technologies. These tests involve extensive use of radio frequency spectrum. This usage is vulnerable to civilian radio frequency infrastructure development. Local developers have discussed a desire to build power lines in the vicinity, which would cause a significant increase in electromagnetic signals and reduce the ability to effectively test. Additionally, off-post solar projects and other infrastructure have reflective materials can create additional hazards for test pilots and air crews. Further, weapon systems, ammunition, vehicles, and demolitions tested can create safety, traffic, and noise hazards to any development near YPG. The YPG Compatible Use Study is a collaborative land use planning effort with neighboring communities to help address these issues and work towards mutually beneficial solutions for the encroachment issues described above. And the goals of the Compatible Use Study were to bring stakeholders together to review current conditions, assess compatibility, and form a plan to, 1, protect the viability of current and future military operations, 2, support economic vitality and environmental health, and 3, to protect the health and safety of residents and military personnel around YPG. So the study area centers on YPG and includes all land within 10 miles of the installation boundary that is in Arizona, stopping at the California border. Community and stakeholder involvement. These were the general public, municipalities, tribal nations, counties, which included Yuma County, La Paz County, state and federal agencies, the military, and policy and technical committees. The assessment included communication/coordination, cultural and biological resources, housing, public trespass, land and airspace competition, resiliency, anti-terrorism/force protection, energy development, frequency spectrum interference and impedance, infrastructure extensions, land use, light and glare, noise, roadway capacity, and safety. So these are the issues that were assessed through the study or analyzed during the study. The recommended strategies include facilitating communication, include in development stakeholder lists, partnership committee, and notify local jurisdictions of mission changes. Eliminate or reduce existing issues, cultural and biological resource preservation, housing affordability, and YPG trespass, and avoid future issues, land/airspace competition, fiber optic infrastructure needs, glare from solar fields, frequency spectrum impedance, and land use compatibility. So in the packet that you received, we included the executive summary for the study. There's I think Amber distributed a copy of the executive summary. Additionally, the actual study is available on the website. I think Amber also sent out the link to the final study that was completed, and then she also has CDs available if you would like to download the study or get the study on the CD. And Mr. Chairman, do you have any questions?
So our action today is to forward this to the board. Is that what we're?
Your action would be to accept the study and forward it to the Board of Supervisors.
And is the study just basically a guideline? It's just a guideline, right? It's nothing. It's not code. It's not.
Correct. The YPG Compatible Use Study is merely a guideline. It may lead to possible amendments to the comprehensive plan, or possibly changes or amendments to the zoning ordinance based on the recommendations within the study. I mean, it is a guideline.
Mr. Chairman, I have a little heartburn over this, because we haven't really had time to review it, to look at it, and it's in a document that it's military versus private land. And I think without reviewing this a little deeper, I mean, it's how we commit to doing this. I know we did it once before, on, I don't remember what the item was on the agenda, but but the stakeholders have a lot to say in what this. So I'm curious, does this need to go through a public hearing or anything, Maggie?
No, Mr. Chairman, that does not require the advertising in the local newspaper or.
So we just say, okay. Yeah. Okay, well,
Mr. Chairman, the staff would not be opposed to this item being continued until the July meeting to give the commission time to review the executive summary and the actual study.
I
Before-
think that's a good idea, Mr. Chairman. I really do, because we don't know enough about it to really make a judgment.
Commissioner Block, I agree with you. I did kind of peruse through it a little bit, and there's a lot of stakeholders that did provide input, but I didn't get to dive into it
Yeah.
like I'd like to either. But there's a lot of stakeholders that did provide input, so I was impressed with that because that was my concern.
I have a question. Do we know if the overlay map is changing at all, or is it staying the same as before?
Mr. Chairman, that's the map within the study.
So it's nothing changing from, I
No.
don't know. Yeah. Okay.
So it's the commission's desire to table this for discussion?
Mr.
or
Chairman.
Continue it for,
Yeah, I'd make a motion that we table this to our next meeting, to
Okay.
give us a chance to review it.
I second that.
Continue, yeah.
take a motion. We have we have a motion, we have a second. Let's take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, moving forward.
Table you kill.
I think it's a good idea. I was actually involved in it a little bit, and I have read it quite a bit, so, yeah, I
Oh, so
understand.
you
It's
may
pretty
have-
in-depth, so.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, it's a little more in depth.
Okay. Item number 12, discussion by the commission members and planning director of events attended, current events, and schedule of future planning commission meetings. Anything? Nothing?
Are we having a meeting in July?
Yes. Or inside.
Anything else? Everybody good?
We're having a meeting in Hawaii.
I guess.
Last thing I got.
Yes.
Will be my last meeting here. So.
Today's he's retiring.
Not today, the 11th. But
Hey, where are you going?
Edward?
just retired.
What's happening?
I don't know, a lot of people tend to retire and go work somewhere else.
Yeah, good luck to you. Thank you for your service. It was a pleasure working with you when we did, and thank you for everything, and especially your personality, your smile. Thank you. So that, good luck to you, Ed. Seriously.
Good luck.
Be working with you guys, and
Yeah, thank
We
you.
hope you enjoy retirement to your fullest, and when you get bored,
Get back.
If you want to change your property status or anything, let us know. If you live in the county.
Best of luck to you always.
Meeting adjourned.
Me and John, that's.